Hey folks, today on Isolation Nation, a show about mental health. A Landsberg who's going to talk about anxiety and fear of puking, plus ADHD, dyslexia. It could be me. Also, it could not be me. And Jamie Soleil, 2002 Olympic gold medalist in pairs figure skating.
Hello, Michael.
Hey, Sean Cullen.
Hello, Jamie.
Jamie Soleil, I'll tell her you said hi.
Here's a song for you in the style of Gordon Lightfoot.
The happy times are gone, and I can still put on.
Actually, that was Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh man, take a look at my life. I'm a lot like you.
Actually, that was Neil Young. They're not the same person. There's two of them. They're different people.
Jamie Soleil.
Now that's better.
Oh, Jamie Soleil.
Love that. How about a little more?
I think you're greater than any other skater.
Today, it's the debut of Sean Cullen's Jamie Soleil, coming up on Isolation Nation. Okay, that is outrageously good. Sean Cullen he's so good that it makes me kind of like go like, what am I doing here? Like that is just, it sounded like Gordon Lightfoot. And that's a song to you, which we'll play in a couple of seconds. How are you, Jamie?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing great because, right now I'm doing what I kind of feel like was the thing that I should be doing in life. I don't know when you figure skated, whether, when you were in Salt Lake or, world championships, whether you thought, oh my gosh, this is what I was destined to do. I don't know if you felt that way when you had your kids. Tell me where it was in your life that you felt, oh my gosh, I am doing what I should be doing.
Well, it's happened. Actually, the having children thing was something I never even really thought of. Actually, it's terrible to say that, but there's 3 times in my life where I feel like this was so meant to be, or I'm doing what I love, and I'm so meant to do this. And that was when I was skating as a youngster. Actually, I just had so much fun on the ice. It was my happy place. I felt free there. I could express myself. And then having children, being a mother, I've always dreamed of having a family. And then now as a motivational coach, I love helping people.
I guess sort of this, I'm doing the thing I was supposed to do. Like, first of all, it's kind of foolish, right? Because I don't believe in like the higher power thing where, it was destined to be, or, everything happens for a purpose. I'm not a believer in that. So for me to say that I'm doing what I was supposed to do is kind of silly. And also, you've just said that you can do multiple things that you're supposed to do.
Well, meaning supposed to is like, I've all those things I talked about supposed to be doing or feeling good doing them were things that I was really passionate about. So for me, that's tapping into what you absolutely love and doing it, right? So you were supposed to be on television, I can tell you that. You're great at it.
You stop.
And you're supposed to help people because you're also doing that now, and you're giving back such an incredible gift. So thank you.
Now I'm all embarrassed. So I have to come back with a compliment of my own to you. Let's see. You never did anything really. You never accomplished much. You never won a gold medal. Oh, wait a second here. You did do all that. So so Jamie Soleil, great to see you. Great to be talking to you in this form. I've already introduced you to our next guest, and we'll meet him in a little while. His last name happens to be the same as mine, and his mom happens to be my wife. Try to unravel all of that. But right now, as promised, before we get into the heavy stuff, Sean Cullen, let's roll this, Phil. And this is going to be for you, Jamie Soleil, Gordon Lightfoot style.
Hello, Michael. Hello, Jamie. Here's a song for you in the style of Gordon Lightfoot. Jamie Soleil. Oh, Jamie Soleil. I think you're greater than any other skater. Oh, Jamie Soleil, come to my chalet. I'll make you fondue, cheese and bread dip for you. Oh, Jamie won gold at Salt Lake City, I'm told. You can dance on the ice, and I think that you always dress nice. Oh, Jamie Soleil, Jamie Soleil, can I throw you in the air? And you wouldn't have to worry, 'cause when you came down, I'd be there. Oh, Jamie Soleil, sweet Jamie Soleil, one day we'll meet, but don't wear your skates on the street, 'cause you'll ruin the edges. Have a lovely day.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm honored. Thank you.
And it's crazy. So Sean, I met years ago on Off the Record, and I know he's a big sports fan. So like loosely connected over the years. When we started this show, so this would have been April 1st was our first show. I wanted to put Sean on the show as a guest, like you are a guest today. Also, I knew that he had some mental health struggles. Mm-hmm. So he came on, and I don't know when he first sent something to us, but now he does a song every day. He did a song for George LaRock, like he was Johnny Cash. It was like,
love it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you see like real talent.
Yeah,
so let's talk about you in your life and mental health. And when someone says to you mental illness and just leaves it at that, what comes to your mind?
Many things. It's I've experienced it myself. I've watched my mother as a child cry herself to sleep many nights. Suffered with depression. I've had family members that have been medicated as well for depression. And I've also had anxiety. I had horrible anxiety when I was living in Montreal and I was training with David. So I've experienced it personally and witnessed it with friends and family, actually. So it's really, really hard. And I really appreciate you being so open and sharing with people, because as soon as we express our vulnerability and we become more relatable to people, and people go, oh, I can have that, but I don't have to let it have me. We can all experience these things together, support each other, but we don't let it get us. And that's what I've realized over the years.
Yeah, that's beautifully expressed. And thank you for being open about your own situation, but also your mom. And like, how old were you that you remember, being with your mom and her crying herself to sleep?
Yeah. So my parents separated when I was 10 years old, and the crying started right away. I mean, there were many nights where I would go into her room and I would just hear her trying to go to sleep, and she was just sobbing in her pillow, and I would hug her and hold her and tell her how beautiful she was. And I just said, Mom, everything's going to be okay. You're a beautiful person. You'll meet, someone great one day. And I just kept encouraging her the way a parent would. And I remember even calling her when I was 12. She was working, and I just felt that she was, just needing that extra little support and love. And so I would call her and I would play Wind Beneath My Wings for her, because I felt even at that time in early stages of my skating career that she was the wind beneath my wings, not just as a figure skater and athlete trying to work my way to the Olympics, but just as a mother. She was really struggling, but yet she was an inspiration to me in some ways too, because she was so positive with me. She had her internal pain, and I watched that, but yet she would tell me always, keep pursuing your love and your passion, Jamie, you're doing great. And she would always encourage me, and she loved me, and I felt safe when I was with her at home. But I always felt like I needed to really lift her up too. And so she'll never forget that day when I called her at work and played Wind Beneath My Wings for her. We still actually will hear it in the car, and we'll like call each other and say, oh, I just heard our song. And so it's pretty special how it comes around.
That is, gosh, we're kidding around, or as the Jewish people say, kibitzing around. And now all of a sudden, that's the beauty of a conversation like this, which is hard to have in on television or any place because of the boundaries. But now you're sharing something that's so personal and so remarkable and so beautiful and so painful, because your mom, and I know this from speaking with you, your mom was not just situational where, her marriage broke up, so she was sad. Your mom suffers and has suffered from depression, the illness, for a long time, right?
Well, and I think for my mom, we've talked about it now as me being an adult, we've talked about like the thoughts that she had when she was going through this, because she's off medication now and she's starting to feel much better, which is wonderful. But she does a lot of self-help work, personal growth stuff to keep that going. But, it was really that she had developed these beliefs that were, constricting her flow of thinking in a different, more positive way. So she was always feeling like she wasn't worthy and she wasn't lovable. And if she made a mistake, she was such a bad person. And so now her marriage fails. So now I'm a horrible mom and I can't make things work out. And so we can talk about that really openly now. And it's powerful for me. And it's really given me some great tools and principles that I can now use with my children, because I say, Mom, thank you. You did the best you could with what you had. And I'm going to get emotional because my mom and I are really close. Yeah. So it was really hard to see that. But I say thank you, because as much as that wasn't pretty for you to go through, you gave me some really great gifts, Mom. And you taught me how to find the good in things. And you got me to where I am.
I don't know your mom, obviously, but I know the illness that your mom has had, and that illness, depression, it's this voice in our heads, right? You were saying that your mom didn't feel worthy, and that your mom, didn't necessarily feel like she deserved to get better, that she had somehow done something wrong, and that's the voice of depression in our heads, and it's amazing because it's different for all of us. It preys on our vulnerabilities. It's like your brain goes, okay, what can I say to Michael that will devastate him the most, that will keep him down the most? And it repeats that to me, like, okay, people aren't going to find you interesting, or okay, you're going to fall flat. These are things that I fear, right? That you won't be the person that brings sunshine to whoever you meet, whether it's somebody in an airport. That's who I want to be. And it tells me I can't be that. And in your mom's case, it would tell her that she couldn't be a lot of things that she feared.
Totally. And, I have to be really honest with you. I remember when I was probably in my late teens, early 20s, I would get really frustrated, and I would just get really frustrated because I didn't totally understand. I hadn't had depression. I'd watched her cry herself to sleep. I've watched her make mistakes and lead herself down, like self-destructive kind of stuff. So I would get really frustrated with her. I'm like, get your shit together. Like, let's go already. Like, how am I the way I am? And I'm doing what I'm doing, but you can't get your shit together. And I would get so mad, Michael. And then all of a sudden one day I was like, no, this is real. And then I started having anxiety. And then I actually called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm experiencing some things that are really uncomfortable. So that was sort of an aha moment for me of like, stop judging whether you have this or not, or any kind of mental illness. And like you said earlier, there's all different kinds of levels or severities, but like, it was so uncomfortable for me to feel anxious. Like I was scared to death in my bathroom, couldn't breathe. I felt like I had an elephant on my chest. And then I said, Mom, I can only imagine what you've gone through all these years of feeling helpless and feeling like you can't put one foot in front of the other some days, but thank you for not quitting. Thank you.
You were we were talking earlier, and you were saying that you were born in the first part of your life. You were in Red Deer, right? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, grew up in Red Deer.
And that you were bullied
regularly. It was normal. It's actually really interesting, Michael. Now I have a very close friend of mine reminded me of, she goes, do you remember that letter that this one girl was supposed to be my best friend? She goes, do you remember that letter that so-and-so wrote? And it was a petition to not like me. And she basically went around, our grade to get everybody to sign it. And I said, no, I don't remember that. I had no idea she even did that. I'm like, well, no wonder I had no friends in grade 3, 4, 5, whatever. So that was one incident in elementary. And then I go over to junior high and, you know, I've got short hair because my aunt is a hairdresser and I'm like her guinea pig. And I'm 5'1", I'm little and I'm doing well in skating. And I don't know, my mom didn't have a lot of money, so I didn't get fashionable clothes. We shopped at, you know, more the discount kind of places. I wasn't cool. And so it didn't matter if my name was Salé, which means salty in French. It didn't matter if it was my haircut or the shoes I was wearing. I got a new pair of shoes. Oh, now you think you're so cool. Like I was made fun of so often. I would go home crying. I would walk to school and home, pretty much to school with a tremendous amount of fear and just scared of what's in store today. And then I would go home crying and then I would go to my safe place on the ice and never wanted to get off. So when I moved to Edmonton for high school, I just was like, a fresh start, a new beginning. But I had developed some really bad habits. I didn't want to be at school. So I had to retrain myself to, you know, to get through high school and complete it in the way that I knew I was capable of. And that wasn't easy. But I think I was going to add to your point earlier is, you have all these thoughts, Michael, and I still do when I'm working in my coaching business. I have fears of what am I going to say that's going to inspire people? They're not going to think anything that I'm going to say or do is any good. I have those thoughts too. That's just fear. This is fear talking to you. So I've learned to respond back to that dialogue on my shoulder. I call it the devil on my shoulder. I just talk back to it. But also super important to surround yourself with people who believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. Like, have you not found that that's one of the most important things through all of this?
Yeah. You know, I've had, I have spent some time talking to homeless people who have mental health challenges. Yeah. And I mean, I didn't go down there for any other reason other than to find out, you know, like what got them there. Exactly. And it was like the only difference between them and I, in almost every case, was that I came from an amazing home with amazingly loving parents. And I married a woman who supported me and you know, I felt was always in my corner no matter what. And then I had kids who did the same thing. And there's, you know, like, so I say to people all the time, look, you know, I had every advantage. I could afford to see a psychologist if that's what I needed. I could afford the medication. And unfortunately, not everyone has that benefit. And your mom was one of those people that did not have the benefit of all of the things that I had.
And she also didn't surround herself with people. She would go to work all day and work because she was paying for my skating, which if anybody listening right now or watching has a child in figure skating, you know how expensive it is. I don't even know how she did it, but she would work late hours and then she would come home. It was like she'd have a little snack and then she'd be in her house coat or a robe on the couch for a bit, but then she'd go to bed because she just was like done.
You know,
it was just kind of a sad period of life. And we talked about that before we started, is like there's so much of her life gone from like lost, you know, from those days of just not really living. She was just existing. But you know what? She's better today. So we're not making up for lost time, but we're just making the best of each day now.
That is, I mean, there's something about it too, which is if you have come from a place of real pain and you move past it to a place of just real average, real normal, like nothing, just normal. It feels like the greatest thing on the planet. It's like I say, if you go from a 3 out of 10 to a 5 out of 10, it feels like a 7 because of where you came from, because of the contrast, and because, you know, you wake up and you go, I don't have this burden. I don't have this pain. And it's, you know, at those times, it's like the pain that you felt is a gift, because you would never know what mental normalcy felt like unless you had felt the pain.
Yeah, I agree.
I know I have so much I want to talk to you about.
As a gift.
Oh God, you know, like this is shockingly good, because I didn't know a lot of your past, and then you know you find out that, oh my God, you're getting such amazing stuff. Let's welcome. Our next guest joins us right now from Toronto, Ontario. Please welcome Corey Landsberg to the show. Hey, Corey.
Okay, so who canceled last minute that you asked me
Nobody.
to join today?
Nobody.
Nobody? I was your second choice after Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, Jamie was
Yes.
booked. We actually had Jamie booked on Monday, and then we decided that we would take Monday off for the Queen's birthday because, let's face it, we all want to celebrate the fact that the Queen, 99 or 110 years old, is still doing the job. But yeah, no, today was, your mom said like a couple of weeks ago, why don't you put Corey on the show? And I was like, okay, well, yeah, I should, for a million different reasons. Not because you're my son, but because you have battled anxiety. What's your earliest memory of dealing with anxiety, Corey?
As long as I can remember being alive, I remember dealing with anxiety. I remember the fear of vomiting from as long as I can go back. It's always been there. I'm pretty sure it always will be there. But it's something that I don't think you ever get past that. I don't think you ever get past your actual fears. I think that they just are something you learn to tolerate and live with.
Yeah, I think that, that's one of the things you can do as an intelligent person who has lived with their own head for their entire lives. That may sound ridiculous, but yeah, you've been you for a long time now, where you had the ability to think through it, and you get better at having something like a fear of throwing up, known as emetophobia. It's like, I never got over it, but I can handle it better. But I still can't, to this day, I can't fly on a plane and have the person beside me.
I know where you're going with this.
Reach into the,
Yep.
I don't know what you call that, the
seat,
pouch or the
seat
pocket,
back? Yeah.
the seat back in front of me. If the person's doing that, it's like, whoa, oh, thank God.
You see
It's
those
the
hands?
magazine. But
What's going
also,
on?
yeah, but also, when they reach for the magazine, you go, nobody opens that magazine. What do you, but I'm so happy that that they're not reaching for the bag. Do you think that I passed this to you genetically? Do you think I passed it to you because of the environment? Sure. Like, do you think that you heard me talking about this?
I just wanted to go back to the magazines that you were talking about. I have ordered 3 watches from those magazines.
Really?
I think they're called like Up in the Sky magazine or something. No. But yeah, I definitely think you passed this on to me. I don't think that it's something maybe I just pick up on things that other people have, like the fears that other people have, but I wouldn't have known when I was like 4 years old that, oh, my dad was afraid of puking when he was 16, so I have to be afraid of that. I think it's just something that somewhere we're all programmed a little bit from each of our parents, and that was some of the software that I inherited.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. And also, I kind of look at it like, it's bizarre though, because if there is a genetic link on things like anxiety and depression, but the fact that this link between you and I would be so specific, not that you suffer from general anxiety disorder, because that is passed down from parent to child from time to time. But the fact that you have this specific fear is bizarre. But I have found in my life, including yesterday, I had a conversation with a 12-year-old girl who has suffered from emetophobia and had never met anyone who had experienced it. And all of a sudden, it was like she was let out of jail. She was going, oh my God, really? Really?
I'm not the only one?
Yeah. Because no one wants to feel like they're the only one.
No, and I think that when I was, like, when you're a kid, I don't think you realize that, at least for me, I never realized that other people weren't the same. Like, they didn't have the same fears as me. I never realized that other people didn't have anxiety. I thought everyone was just the same. So I may have been different. And I think that it was like a real shock for me when I was on a grade 8 field trip. And I think we were at the Science Center. And there was like that IMAX movie. And it was one of those movies where, like, they warn you before, like you may get motion sickness from this. And I remember thinking, all right, I got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But I didn't I wasn't allowed to leave. They made me stay. And then the kid four seats down, I remember his name was Richard. Richard turned to the teacher who was sitting between me and him and puked all over the teacher. And I took off. Like, I was long gone. you would never have seen someone move faster than I moved to get out of there. And I remember I'm like, okay, I must turn around. When I turn around, everyone else is going to be following me, right? Like, no, I was the only one. I'm the only one who's running out of the theater, pushing people to get out of the way. And I was like, why isn't everyone else like that? Like, why am I like that? And this, maybe, I don't know, maybe I was 10 or 11, 12 years old. I can't remember how old I was, but I just remember this was the first time when I realized, wait, everyone's not like that.
Right. Jamie, when you talk about your anxiety and you were saying that you would be in the washroom and you couldn't come out of the washroom, what was there something that you could pinpoint? Was it, the fear of, because let's face it, figure skating is, without a doubt, like all professional sports or top level sports, Olympic sports carry a huge amount of pressure, but they're not all focused and centralized. It's not like you're a hockey player where you have 60 minutes to do good things and bad things. You've got 2 programs which ultimately determine your year and maybe your career. So was it that bothered you?
So the anxiety that I felt, the panic attacks that I had were not necessarily before I competed. They were when I was in training, and it was always to do with something that was going on in my life that was causing really scary thoughts for me. If this happens, then what if, then this is going to happen to me, and then I'm going to get that result. It's going to be negative. It was always my thoughts that created this fear for me, changed my physiology. I would get numb. And then all of a sudden I would try to keep going throughout the day. And then all of a sudden I found myself in a bathroom, like taking deep breaths. And I'm like, I can't, like, there's this elephant on my chest and I didn't know how to get rid of it. I had no idea what to do. And then I would call people and say, like, what is going on? They're like, well, that's anxiety, Jamie. And I said, well, this is really uncomfortable. So like you, I wasn't on medication, but I saw psychologists and I worked with people on mental imagery things. I've done tons of meditation and just personal self-help stuff because for me, it was all about breathing and changing my thinking. I wanted to add though, that your correlation with the same, like your fear that you both share. So since I'm younger, not a child, but younger in my 20s, probably we were touring. And I was always really grossed out by the hotels that we stayed in, especially in the US, because we were doing 84 cities or 64 cities in the US for 4 years. And we weren't staying in Ritz-Carltons. And so some of them were really dodgy and dirty and stuff. And so I just developed this, not fear per se, but like a little bit of anxiousness around staying in hotels. And so my 12-year-old son, without even realizing that I was putting that on him, he now will say, when we go stay in a hotel, well, how old is this hotel, Mom? And I went, oh, shoot, it's happening. Like he's now reacting and he's afraid if this hotel is old, then he's going to have to sleep with his clothes on. And he's like, ugh, but as long as it's newer, then he's okay. So I didn't even realize I was really doing that because I don't think I talk like that. So I found that really interesting that you guys have the same fear because now my son does of what I had.
Yeah. My wife and my daughter have the same thing, which is they like to stay in beautiful hotels. And when the hotel is average, my daughter's now giving me the finger. When, hey, Corey, Las Vegas, what was the hotel? Remember, was it the Hampton? We were in Las Vegas. We were coming back and they booted us off because they overbooked the plane. So they put us up at night in a hotel, which traveling around speaking in small towns, especially, you stay, in a lot of places that are not luxurious.
Yes.
But, oh my God, you would have thought that we were in the Don jail.
This place was terrible. So,
no, it wasn't.
Oh, it was awful. It was terrible. And it's not like one of those hotels where you actually know they come in to clean. Like they may have cleaned that week, but I wasn't sure that they had cleaned that day. So it wasn't good. And my mom complained for 3 years that she got bed bugs because of it. I don't know if it was that bad, but it was if it was a choice between that and the Four Seasons would probably be the right choice.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, let's lighten the mood here, although the mood was pretty light when you're talking about that. And my daughter, by the way, said that your sister just said, he's the biggest princess in the family, just so you know. Okay, so this is, who doesn't want more Sean Cullen? Let's hear Sean Cullen, who he did a theme song for us. Here's Sean Cullen playing the Isolation Nation theme. Go, boy.
Hey, everybody. It's a nation in isolation. It's a nation in isolation. It's a difficult situation. It's a nation in isolation. Now's not a good time for celebration. Feeling good, share the wealth, help other people with their mental health. It's a nation in isolation. Don't eat fiberglass pink insulation. Yeah. Good advice.
Yeah, it's good advice.
Good.
Yeah.
I've already had 3 slices today.
Pink fiberglass insulation.
Yep.
But that song, it will haunt you, just so you know. It will, like, you'll be going, like, you'll be in bed tonight. You'll wake up at 2 in the morning and you'll be going, Isolation Nation. You'll be hearing the theme. So, Corey, you don't have a theme, do you? Oh, wait a second here. Here's Sean Cullen with a little bit of Isolation Nation for that guy right there with the Jays hat. Roll it, Phil.
Corey Landsberg, he's on the show. His dad is Michael Landsberg, don't you know? He can cook, he's got a dog. His name is Carl. It's a nation in isolation. It's a difficult situation.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's
Hold on.
Very
I got
good. Very
I got
creative.
Carl with me right here.
Oh, hi, Carl.
Say hi, buddy.
Animals make everybody happier.
They do.
It's on the table.
They do.
My wife's
Except
not
my
happy
mom.
about that.
My late mom had a fear of cats that was dominant in her life. Corey, you remember Israel?
Oh, do I ever?
Yeah, it's true.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's true. I shouldn't have said that because I have some neighbors that are afraid of dogs because my dog's like this big, but he's very scary. But no, I just feel like animals can be so therapeutic. Like they're so unconditional, especially dogs.
Yeah.
They just always love you.
You know,
it's true.
I actually, I think it was 2018. That was probably the year I had like the worst anxiety I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up getting the dog in 2019. So he's just over a year old. And since we got the dog, it's not like you ever lose the anxiety, but I know for sure that like my anxiety, a lot of it is shifted to the dog. I worry like, okay, what's he eating? What's he doing? Is he okay? So they definitely help with that. But it's been, it was the best decision we ever made. Even better than getting married.
I think,
my wife would definitey agree with that too.
As long as you agree with it, it's good.
Yeah.
It's not so good if one says that and the other one goes, "What?"
Yeah.
Hey, Riggs, Carl's on the show. Wrigley, he's underneath me, and Carl and Wrigley are buddies. Oh.
Watch this. Where's Wrigley? Where's Wrigley, buddy? You see Wrigley? Where's Wrigley? Look at the TV.
Riggs,
look at the computer,
Riggs,
bud.
Where's Carl? Where's Carl, buddy? Where's Carl?
I love
You're gonna
it.
see his tail. He's wagging his tail out of control right now. Come on, show that tail. Bud.
Riggs.
Carl, look,
That's
Wrigley's on the
Carl.
screen. Whoa.
And they're relatives.
Yep,
They're
they're I
relatives.
guess they're cousins from
They're
the
cousins. I love
same
it.
breeder.
Yeah.
And
So
now
this
I feel
was-
bad because I got his hopes up.
Hey, Riggs. Yeah, you'll see Carl tomorrow. This was great. This really was. This was a joy. And, it's kind of like turning pain to giving purpose to pain. All the shit that you've gone through in your life, when you share it and the right person hears it, you change their life, right? Because especially you, your podium in 2002 and at the World Championships gives you an entree into people's brains that you wouldn't have if you weren't successful like that, because people perceive success as strength. So they look when they hear you talking about the struggles that your mom had, your family had, that you've had, and they go, well, I guess it's not about weakness because, Jamie and her mom have been battling through that. So,
Exactly.
it's like when you tell the story, it's so powerful. Gosh.
Well, and people aren't alone. I think it's so powerful alone, Michael, that you and so many other people are really talking about this because it's important that we share our stories and help people understand that it's okay. it's really okay. And it's not a weakness. And like you said earlier, it's really important to use it and to find the gift in it. There's a lesson in all of this, that anything that we go through, right? But that also that there's an incredible power inside of you that's greater than anything outside of you. So always remember that. And that fear and these thoughts are always going to be there. But like Corey said, it's learning to talk to them. It's learning to manage them. It's learning to respond in a positive way to those thoughts and those fears. I mean, mine speak loudly too. You just have to learn the tools and the principles to not listen.
Yeah. You know what? You really took over the show there, Soleil.
I did?
You know,
oh
it's
my
like,
gosh,
yeah. No, it's like all of a sudden, you know, I'm the, the home of wisdom, you know, oh, look at me, you know, I'm a life coach, and I can tell people how they can be happier in their lives and how they can fulfill more. I'm of course 100% joking, just so you know, because, you know, to me, when you talk about mental health, the idea of laughter is hugely important, because no one wants to hear the somber, stoic message. You are awesome, and I mean that.
So are you.
Okay,
and you too, Corey.
Yeah,
Thank
Corey.
you.
So proud of you, Corey. This is like, if I wasn't on medication, I'd be crying now. But because I'm on medication,
you're numb.
Like, I'm numb. I'm numb. Exactly.
If you put me on the show again, you can call it Nepotism Nation. How about that?
There you go.
Nice. Yeah. So
and I want to say thank you to your wife as well, because she is one strong woman. She's doing an incredible job. As a mother and a wife, and Casey, thank you for doing what you're doing. I'm just a lot of love to your family.
Thanking you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
So you say hi to your wonderful husband, or I saw him before, and
Yes,
this love-in will be continued in the near future. This was really special.
so.
Thanks, Jamie. Okay,
Thank
hold
you.
on.
Okay.
Phil, as we wrap this up, Phil, could you, for our copyright song, could you roll the Jamie Soleil, Sean Cullen tribute song? If you could do that, that would be great. You just bring it in anytime you want, Phil. Yeah, no, the one that we played, Phil. Yeah, the one that we played near the top of the show. If you could roll that in, that would be awesome.
He needs a little warning. You just threw that on him.
Yeah, you're really
right now.
screwing him over here.
No.
Yeah.
Here it goes. 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow.
Hello, Michael. Hello, Jamie. Here's a song for you in the style of Gordon Lightfoot. Jamie Soleil. Oh, Jamie Soleil. I think you're greater than any other skater. Oh, Jamie Soleil, come to my chalet. I'll make you fondue, cheese and bread dip for you. Oh, Jamie, one go at Salt Lake City, I'm told. You can dance on the ice, and I think that you always dress nice. Oh, Jamie Soleil, Jamie Soleil, can I throw you in the air? And you wouldn't have to worry, 'cause when you came down, I'd be there. Oh, Jamie Soleil, sweet Jamie Soleil, one day we'll meet, but don't wear your skates on the street, 'cause you'll ruin the edges. Have a lovely day.